very much, Dr. Huck, and it's a pleasure to serve on your chairmanship. And I also congratulate my honourable friend for Hastings and Rye for securing this debate. Though I no longer represent a coastal community, my constituency borders them, and many of my constituency work in them. They are therefore reliant on their economic, cultural and social success. And I also wrote a chapter in the 2019 book on coastal communities in the 21st century for the book Britain Beyond Brexit, edited by the Honourable Member for Mid-Norfolk. And the first point is that coastal communities are a diverse group in population and economic size, and there is no one-size-fits-all. Communities in Cornwall and North Devon are very different from my honourable friends for Hastings and Rye and for Eastbourne. However, they do have one thing in common. The government's productivity drivers, skills, innovation, competition, enterprise and investment initiatives work less well in coastal communities, and this is largely due to the hub and spoke nature of the UK's infrastructure, as resources are focused on the major arterial routes out of large conurbations. Since the book was published, we have had COVID, and this means digital connectivity has been an issue in many areas, not least remote coastal communities, where it's not only broadband, but mobile coverage as well, as many people, including myself, on holiday in Cornwall, have found. However, working from home has increased dramatically, so improving digital connectivity is one of the most cost-effective ways of providing incentives for businesses and for people to move out of central conurbations and into coastal communities. However, I believe transport is the largest barrier for coastal communities. They're often at the end of the line, meaning that cars are the only way to get around. In many cases, it takes the same amount of time as in the Victorian era to get a train from London to many coastal communities, and this is not good enough. Even in places like Portsmouth, it still takes 1 hour 40 minutes to travel 70 miles by train. The fastest time to Great Yarmouth is 2 hours 38 minutes to travel just 136 miles. And Newquay in Cornwall is just under 5 hours by train, which is only 256 miles. By contrast, it takes 2 hours to travel the 200 miles between Manchester and London, and from Birmingham, it's 1 hour 29 minutes to go 126 miles. So you can imagine how galling it is to hear about HS2 train times if you live by the sea. And it's just as bad to travel between coastal communities too, between Great Yarmouth and Felixstowe, which is it takes 2 hours 40 minutes for 58 miles. Sometimes you can even cycle them faster. So that's the crux of it. Poor transport links and poor digital connectivity are two very negative forces pushing down on our coastal communities. One is sadly very expensive to fix, one much cheaper. I hope the government policy is directed towards digital connectivity and bringing coastal communities into the 21st century. This would at least take one negative away while longer-term transport solutions are found.